Did you know that cold calling actually still works? In fact, I'll prove to you that cold calling still works. ZoomInfo, it's a company that went public. They're valued at nearly $18 billion. That's their market cap. You wanna know why? It's because ZoomInfo can get you the direct dial phone number for B2B buyers. The direct dial meaning it's not the main company line and you put in the extension, and it's the direct dial, and a lot of times it's the cell phone number of the person you're trying to reach. That's how you know that direct dialing, cold calling still works today in the 2020s. In 2021, this is when I'm doing the video. So cold calling is still very alive. In fact, it's so incredibly alive that there are entire platforms out there that actually help you cold call effectively. Now, here's the thing though, here's the big question. No one actually likes receiving a cold call. I don't think you do either. But yet they're so effective. So what makes for an effective cold call? What are the masters of cold calling doing that you and I that are mere mortals don't know about, and so we totally shy away from it? In this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the core principles of how to effectively cold call to drive revenues and pipeline for your SaaS business. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS businesses faster with an unstoppable strategy. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode like this with the TK energy. Now, if you're part of my SaaS go-to-market coaching program, if you're part of this community, welcome back. It's so awesome to see you over here. Now, I remember every single time we announced a fundraise for ToutApp, my cell phone would get flooded with cold calls. It would be recruiters, it would be service providers, it would be salespeople, and somehow they always found my cell phone number and they would be calling. And I was on the receiving end of these cold calls. Most of them I didn't really need, but some of them ended up to be kind of compelling. And I started to notice some patterns on what made for good cold callers and bad ones. Now, I was also owning a team. In my company, we had an entire team of people. We had SDRs. That entire job was to send cold emails and to send cold calls and to actually make cold calls to reach out and generate pipeline. On top of that, ToutApp actually had a dialer in our platform. So we built software that helped you do cold calling as well. So knowing everything I know, which is actually more than I realized, when I was doing this episode, knowing everything that I know about cold calling, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 principles you absolutely need to know on how to effectively do cold calling. Whether it's yourself that you're gonna be doing cold calling, you're gonna be hiring a group of young people that are green in the ears and you're gonna train them on how to cold call. So if you're excited to dig in for principle number 1, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and we're gonna get right into it. So principle number 1 is this is your duty. All right, so this is super important. This happens before you even make a phone call or you make the decision to make a phone call. You have to take on this mindset to embrace cold calling, which is one of the most difficult things to do. You really have to guard your loins to go into it. You actually have to realize this is your duty. This is actually one of the tricks, the mental tricks that I use to embrace sales and marketing in my own career. I was very skittish about sales and marketing, about pushing our product into people's faces and saying, you gotta buy this. And I was like, look, if the product's great, it'll grow. And you realize pretty quickly as an engineer, that's not a growth strategy. You actually need a sales and marketing machine. So I realized that, but I still had to escape the shyness that I had in my own head. And this is the mental trick that I learned from some mentors of mine. They said, look, this is your duty. The product that you're building, is it truly going to transform your customers' lives? And I said, yes. The product that you're building, if they buy it and deploy it, will their business be more successful? And I said, yes. If they don't do this and they stick to the old way of doing this, are they gonna suffer? Are they gonna be worse off? I said, yes. And they said, if their competitors buy your product, will they be at a disadvantage then because they don't have your product? And I said, absolutely yes. Then they said, then it is your duty to actually let them know about your product. And all of a sudden, something clicked in my head. I wasn't all of a sudden trying to cold call someone or cold email someone or hunt someone down at a conference so I can interrupt them and inconvenience them. I was doing it because it was my duty to let them know about the strategic advantage that my product brought. Now, this is not directly related to cold calling, but you will not be successful in cold calling. You will not be successful in kicking off a program around cold calling unless you believe this piece. You have to believe that this is your duty to get your product into the hands of your ideal customer profile, into the hands of your ideal prospects. Because if you don't do that, they are gonna be at a disadvantage, and it's your duty to let them know about it. So that's principle number one. You gotta recognize it's your duty. As soon as you do that, all of a sudden, your approach to cold calling, cold emailing, running ads, sales and marketing shifts. It's not about being cheesy. It's not about being pushy. It's not about being deceitful. All those bad things that get a rep in sales and marketing. It's about, look, it's my duty to let you know about this transformation that we can bring to your org. And if you don't do it, and all your competitors do it, you're gonna be at a disadvantage, and I gotta let you know about it. That's principle number one. Once you've done that, then you can start dialing, right? You set up your sales engagement tool, or you're just dialing the old-fashioned way. You have your list of people you need to call. Once you have all of that, there's this first 10 seconds of when you actually call someone. First of all, you're gonna be hoping that you get to voicemail, so you don't have to actually confront someone. If this is your first time doing it, you're gonna have to get over that, because remember, it's your duty. And so when they pick up, that first 10 seconds is super important. So principle number two is you should not have any gimmicks. I'm sure you've had some of these calls where someone says your first name. They're like, John? And I'm like, what? And they're like, John, it's Jake. And I'm like, what is going on right now? And they pretend they know you, and they got the name wrong. And it's just like a complete mess, because they're running some gimmicks. They want to pretend like it's a normal call, and they know you, and you're expecting the call, and you're like, I have no idea what's going on right now, just so they can get you to spend 10 seconds with them. That doesn't work, because what you're really looking to do is build a long-term relationship. And if you start off with a gimmick, it's never going to transform into a real relationship. So drop the gimmicks. Don't pretend that this is not a cold call. It's a cold call. Just acknowledge it. And instead, the biggest advice that I found, and that worked well for everyone that I know, is look to mirror match. Look to mirror match. So the first 10 seconds, you're trying to fill the gap, right? And so instead of gimmicks, what you should do is look for cues to mirror match. So if someone picks up and they're like, hey, this is John, then you should be like, hey, John, this is Jake. Like, match the cadence and the speed at which they're talking. If they're super relaxed, they're like, hey, and they're like, hey, how's it going? You should match exactly what they're doing. As soon as you do that, it's this classic trick in sales. If you can actually match and mirror your prospect, then they'll recognize themselves in you, and they'll be more comfortable. Now, is that a gimmick? Maybe, but that gimmick I'm okay with, versus where you're outright lying. In this case, what you're really doing is trying to be an effective communicator. And one of the best ways to effectively communicate is to actually match what the person you're communicating with is doing. So principle number two is no gimmicks, just look to mirror match within that first 5 seconds. Now, you might be wondering, okay, cool. I get it's my duty. Boom, principle one. I get that I need to mirror match. Boom. What do I do for the rest of this call? This is where principle number three comes in, but let me pause here for a second before I go into that one. Are you starting to see the power in this? This is not just about cold calling. This is shifting how you think about sales and marketing. This is shifting how you think about interrupting people that are in your ideal customer profile. It's your duty to approach them. It's your duty to actually effectively communicate with them and tell them the transformation you can bring into their organizations. It's your duty to do that. As soon as you do that, whether it's cold calling, cold emailing, running ads, all of those things will change in your mind, because you're like, okay, we got to do this, because otherwise, what are we doing here? Why even bother starting the company? And yeah, you could be product-led growth, but even if you're product-led growth, you don't have salespeople, you still have to build awareness around your product, and that requires marketing, even for product-led growth. And that means that people actually have to find your product. In order to do that, you may have to cold call and then direct them into the product. You may have to run ads. So there's no escaping this. So are you starting to see the power in this though? Because this doesn't have to be a gimmicky thing. This can be an empowering thing. If you're starting to see the power in this, and you can already get excited about making some cold calls and sending some cold emails, can I just get a yes in the comments below? Also, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. Now, if you're looking at cold calling, chances are you're trying to figure out growth. I also have a 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. If cold calling is not the only thing you want to be doing, you want to look at all the other channels, you want to look at all the different ways to grow, I encourage you to download that guide. It's completely free. I'll tell you about it at the end of this video. Let's go to principle number 3. Now, admittedly, I forgot I wrote 2 twice, so I put a +1 here. So it's 3, all right? So once you are on the call and you get them and you're mirror matching, right? And you're like, I'm ready, let's do this. It's my duty to let them know about this thing. What do you say? You have to have a strong opening. You need to have a strong opening. Now, again, we committed to ourselves that we're not going to do any gimmicks. So some of the strongest openings that I've seen is number one, to just acknowledge like, hey, I'm cold calling you right now. And just acknowledge it right off the bat. Sometimes honesty is just the best form because they're gonna be like, oh, okay. And then the second thing you can do is say, look, can I just get 27 seconds of your time? For some reason, all the experts in cold calling recommend 27 seconds. It's oddly specific, so people are like, okay, it's not 30, it's 27, sure. And I believe it. I've seen it being used on me, and I'm like, I'll give you 27 seconds, let's go, right? So say it's a cold call, you need 27 seconds, and then jump into your value proposition. You need to jump into your actual value proposition after you've done that. So it's ring, ring. It's like, hey, John, it's Jake. This is totally a cold call. Can I just get 27 seconds of your time? I want to tell you how you can generate more pipeline using email automation. That's just an example. That may not work today. It may, who knows? But that has the right components, for example. At that point, if it's a VP of sales or it's a CEO, they'll be like, 27 seconds. Okay, go. Then you've got your opening to actually ask some discovery questions and turn that into a real meeting. Are you guys starting to see the power in this? So to recap, number one, this is your duty. Just snap into that. This is your duty to let as many people know about your product as possible. Otherwise, you're gonna be at a disadvantage. Number two, no gimmicks on the cold calls. Look at mirror matching. Mirror match what they're doing so that you can actually gain a little bit of compatibility there and communicate more effectively. And then have a strong opening line. Go into introducing yourself, ask for 27 seconds, have a clear value proposition on what you're doing. By the way, if you don't have a clear value proposition developed yet, I did an episode on this earlier this week. You can check it out here. I'll link to it below. You don't have to go yet. That helps you actually craft a value proposition, which is super powerful for these pieces. So those are my 3 principles I had for you in building an effective cold calling strategy, cold calling 101, so you can actually drive those cold calls yourself. Or if you're shy about it, you can hire some people to actually do those cold calls for you. Now, if you got value from this, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're figuring out growth for your company, you're looking at cold calling, there are other ways to grow as well. I invite you to check out my 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. It's completely free. All you need to do is just go to getunstoppable.com/strategy. Getunstoppable.com/strategy, or you can just follow the link below. I'll link to that down below as well, along with the value proposition video. Also, the value proposition video is inside the guide as well, so I'll link to it from the guide as one of the key things that you need to look at. It's completely free. You can go grab it from there. Also, if you have a fellow founder or team member that would get value from this, please share this video with them. It means the world to us. We put a lot of love into these videos. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon if you haven't already, because I drop an episode like this 2-3 times a week with this kind of energy and this kind of actionable steps. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK. I'll see you in the next episode. This is where principle number 3 comes in. Is this 2? Oh, I did 3 twice. Oh, that's weird. Let me fix that.